You know the old saying, too much of any good thing can be a bad thing? Well, that also applies to seed starting. When seed starting, there are some things that you can do too much of, and though they are good initially, they can be bad at a certain point. We're gonna talk about all those things so you do less of them. Let's go. The first thing you can do too much of is sifting your seed starting mix. Now, sifting your seed starting mix is a good thing, but if you sift it too much, it can be a bad thing. I'll explain. When you have a seed starting mix, you want it free of large chunks of wood or stones, different bits of debris that can clog up and mess up your cells, add a lot of air gaps and air pockets, which roots don't like. But beyond that, if you sift it too much, you end up removing a lot of the stuff in a seed starting mix that is good. So if you take out a lot of the perlite and the vermiculite particles, if you sift it, say, down to 1/8 of an inch, you're essentially going to be removing so many of the materials in a seed starting mix that add to its well-draining nature. And what you're left with is sometimes so fine that it ends up doing the exact opposite, which it ends up holding on to too much water. Having too much water can, as we'll talk about, can be a bad thing because it ends up leading to root rot or damping off or mold, algae growth. Lots of bad things can go on with sifting a mix too much. And so you want to make sure that there's a fine line. There's a Goldilocks scenario between not sifting at all, not sifting enough, and sifting too much. You want it just right. And I find that when I sift my seed starting mix, if I have to, not all seed starting mixes need to be sifted, but if I am sifting a seed starting mix, I do not sift it any more than 1/4 inch. That gives me a really great texture, but it sifts out all the larger junk that I don't want. The second thing you can do too much of when seed starting is water your plants. Now, as a beginning gardener, I loved to love on my plants. And one of my greatest garden mentors, my grandpa, told me that sometimes you can love them too much. You can kill them with kindness by trying to take care of them and give them what you think they need. And as a beginning gardener, I thought that was water. I thought they were just as much water as you could give them, they would take. And what that led to was a whole lot of this. Now, this tray here was underneath one of our drip lines and got forgotten. And as you can see, looks like a fish tank that hasn't been cleaned in a while. Pretty green. And this is all algae. As you probably saw that drip. I'm underneath a drip line here and over there. And when they sit underneath these drip lines, they just get absurd amounts of water from all the condensation that falls. And it leads to overwatering. Now, you can experience this by just watering your trays too much. Not only is this going to completely saturate your trays and create algae once it's exposed to sunlight, but it also is you're going to run the risk of root rot, damping off. You're going to run huge issues with mold and mildew. There's a whole host of really nasty stuff that comes in when you overwater. And the idea, again, is the Goldilocks. Obviously, this soil here is pretty dry. The soil here is completely saturated, obviously. What is the fine line that we want to walk? Well, we want to imagine we've taken all the soil out of the tray and we have removed all the water. You should not be able to squeeze any water out of your soil. If you were to pick your soil up and give it a good squeeze, you shouldn't be able to squeeze any water out. This is the level of moisture that we're going for seed starting. Your soil should really never exceed this. You should only maybe get a little more wet than this if you water it initially, and that excess water should drain through the soil based on what we talked about before with the addition of perlite and vermiculite. If you initially water too much, that excess water should run out of the soil and it should return to a state like this at all times. It should never be much drier than this, otherwise your seedlings are going to be suffering and they're going to be lacking water. But too much water, which is what we're talking about, is just going to lead to algae, mold, mildew, damping off, root rot, and a whole other bunch of problems that you really don't want to face as a beginning gardener. So take it from me, it's definitely a big one. You can definitely water too much. The third thing you can do too much of is start with too much time. And by this, it's start seeds with too much time until spring, right? You get too early of a start to your garden can actually be a bad thing, because if you start too early, being here in Michigan, we get spring fever around like January. That first day that peaks above freezing, we're like, oh, Spring's coming, you guys. Start your gardens. And the problem is that that's just not practical because we can't move anything out into the garden until probably late April, early May. And so if you start something like a tomato in January, yes, you're getting your gardening itch scratched. But boy, oh boy, you better have pots upon pots to up pot. I mean, you're gonna go into a 3-inch pot, into a half-gallon pot, into a 1-gallon pot before you know it, and you're still not gonna have enough time until spring, until you're planting it out. And that inevitably, if you cannot continually up pot, having all of that extra time will do you no good because you're inevitably going to have a stressed seedling. And so getting the timing right and not trying to fight the impossible is sometimes the best way to having a successful garden and really healthy seedlings, because starting seeds early does not always mean you're going to have the healthiest seedlings if you don't have the right ways to accommodate their growth with the amount of time that you have until you're planting outside, until spring. And that actually leads me to the sponsor of today's episode, which is SeedTime. SeedTime is a garden planning software which will tell you based on which crop you're growing, and regional data based on where you live and where your garden is located will tell you when the best time to plant is. And I love that because for a beginning gardener like myself, I wish I would have had this technology when I first started out, because I can say I'm growing peppers here, tomatoes here, I want to grow successions of lettuce over the course of 2 or 3 months. I can map out my beds, and the software that SeedTime has created will actually tell you what you should be planting when, based on your regional specific location and data. I absolutely love it. SeedTime has graciously sponsored this episode, and I love that because I've been using SeedTime for the past couple years, and like I said, it is a gardening tool that every single gardener should use because it is essentially the most powerful garden planning software that I've come across. And so when they asked if they could sponsor an episode, I said absolutely. I would be honored because I love your software and I think it's a garden tool that a lot of people can benefit from. The greatest part though is you can try it. You don't have to put a credit card information in. Head over to seedtime.us. I'll have links in the description box down below to where you can check them out. No credit card needed. See everything they have to offer. If it's not the most amazing garden planning software ever, that's great, but I guarantee you, you will be very surprised at all the amazing stuff that they have to provide, like the garden planning software, succession planning software, a great community, even an online store for you to get all the different things that you need to start your garden. So definitely go check out seedtime.us. Links in the description box down below. And thank you so much, SeedTime, for not only creating an amazing tool for gardeners, but for sponsoring today's episode. The fourth thing you can do too much of is start too many seeds per cell. Now, when I was a beginning gardener, I thought the more seeds I'd put per cell meant the greater success I would have when seed starting. But really, all that ended up doing was causing me a ton of work. Take, for example, this celery here. It's natural because celery seed is so small to accidentally sow 3 or 4 seeds. But I'm not necessarily talking about mistakenly planting 3 or 4 seeds. I'm talking about intentionally planting 3 or 4 seeds, sometimes even more than that per cell. All that ends up doing if you have high quality seed is causing you to not only waste time and money, but it causes you to go back and have to clip out unwanted seedlings or thin your seedlings, which ends up just reducing how many plants you could have had you spaced them out accordingly. Now, I do understand that you're probably saying, but Luke, I have poor quality germination because my seeds are older, or maybe they were stored in improper conditions. It was too hot, it was too cold or whatever, and my germination rate is suffering. That's a little different story. If you know that your germination rate is, say, 50%, consider doubling how many you would normally put in. If you're gonna put 1 or 2, maybe put 3 or 4 at that point. But if your seeds are fresh, viable, high quality seeds, like seeds from MIgardener.com, those seeds should have great germination, and you really should not need to put more than a couple seeds per cell, which equals less thinning, less wasted time, and more plants in the long run. And also on top of that, you have seed left over that you can grow at a later time as long as you keep it cool, dark, and dry. So don't make that mistake. I see so many gardeners having seeds just loaded into their trays because they didn't take the time to really systematically plant out their seeds. They just took them and threw them in like it was, a garden space. Out in the garden, take the seeds, just chuck them anywhere. Chaos gardening should be for the garden, not properly seed starting. You're really gonna regret putting a ton of seeds in each cell. So don't make that mistake. You can definitely have too many seeds in one cell when seed starting. And the fifth and final thing you can do too much of when seed starting is add too much fertilizer. Now, yes, fertilizer can be very beneficial and in some cases essential when seed starting. You know, growing plants do need food, that's true, but too much fertilizer can sometimes burn roots. Sensitive plant roots are oftentimes burned by fertilizers even when they're organic if the plants are too small. So make sure that you follow the proper fertilizing instructions on the back of every bag. Every fertilizer is going to be different, and some fertilizers you don't even want to use when they're seedlings because they're just too potent and too strong. In the case of Trifecta Plus here, just to use a prime example, if we were starting seeds and we wanted to add fertilizer to our seed starting mix, we would take a gallon of seed starting mix. So let's just say this was about a gallon. That's roughly about a gallon there. And I would add a quarter cup to that, maybe a little bit more than that. That's about a quarter cup right there. And I'd fluff that up. That is all the fertilizer that I would add for that gallon of seed starting mix. If I had 5 or 4, keeping that simple, I had 4 gallons, I'd add about a cup of Trifecta. That's for Trifecta. That's not going to be across the board. That's just our recommendation with Trifecta. And it's so important that you follow that because yes, having just a regular seed starting mix with no fertilizer added is okay for a little bit of time. If your seeds are sitting in the trays for only a couple weeks, they're probably not going to be affected by not having any fertilizer. But if you're growing something for several weeks to even a couple months, like in the case of tomatoes or peppers, like our peppers behind us here that we transplanted up, we started these back in February. And they absolutely are benefiting from the fertilizer that we added because they are continuing to grow. They're staying nice and green and healthy, and they are absolutely getting ready to go in the garden. And I cannot stress that enough. That simply, again, you can kill your plants with kindness. You can say, you know, you can almost force feed them this fertilizer too much, and just too much of any good thing can be a bad thing. Not only are you wasting time and money again, but you can negatively impact the health of your seedlings. So don't do too much of that either. Just follow instructions, and sometimes just a little bit goes a long way. So that is all the things that, at least for this video, you can do too much of. I'm sure there's probably more, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And again, I want to give a huge thank you to Seed Time for sponsoring today's episode. You guys rock. I will have links to their software and their website in the description box down below. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow bigger. Take care. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider clicking this one. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I want to thank you for your viewership because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free, and we upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. We also have vegetable seeds, fertilizer, or tools. If you need any of those, consider visiting MIgardener.com. Links will be in the description box below. We've got you covered. And as always, we'll see you all in the garden. Take care.